Hello, Minister. You're in Brussels on Monday for a Foreign Affairs Council meeting where the EU's 21st package of sanctions against Russia was very much on the agenda. The head of Russia's Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, was removed from what was proposed by the European Commission. Bulgaria was seen as a champion for this. Why?
Well, we have a very principled approach to the sanctions. Ultimately, we first need to ask the question, why are we having sanctions? And the point of sanctions is to apply economic pressure to Russia as a way to bring them to the negotiating table, as a route to peace and to sustainable negotiations. When you have sanctions that have purely symbolic measure but no economic consequence on Russia, what you are risking is that in a country particularly that is a Eastern Orthodox country such as Bulgaria, you create the environment for brewing anti-European rhetoric, or a sense that we are intervening with church matters, or even further, just creating a martyr figure out of somebody who has been blamed to be triggering propaganda. So if you are applying sanctions that have no economic impact, but in the same time have the risk to cause division, or even worse, Eurosceptic waves, that's why we're not supporting it, and that's why we're really happy that in the end the name was dropped out of the sanction package, and now the package is in a way that we can really support, and we hope that we reach an agreement on this, and other countries that still have reservation manage to lift them soon.
But your predecessor, the former Bulgarian Foreign Minister Daniel Mitov, criticised this. He stated that this isn't a religious decision, that the EU should condemn an individual that uses his status as the head of Russia's Orthodox Church to justify Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine and the murder of innocent civilians. What do you make of this criticism?
I think here we are mixing condemnation with sanctioning. You can, of course, condemn anybody who's been promoting war. And that's something that we've done and condemned all sorts of aggression. But however, when we talk about sanctions, there we mean a using of an economic instrument, an instrument that Europe can apply. And it's very important for us, after 20 packages, now we are close to adopting the 21st, we need to make sure that we continue to promote and propose sanctions that can have real impact, and not devaluing, even to the public, the view that the sanctions could be anything else but a tool to bring Russia closer to the negotiating table and apply economic pressure to Russia higher than to any member state. This should be the ultimate purpose of sanctions. It has nothing to do with condemning or not condemning, and this is not a qualifier about Patriarch Kirill. This is specifically about a role sanction can play in such a case. But you condemn Patriarch Kirill and his comments regarding Russia's invasion of Ukraine? In this case, we are condemning any form of aggression-promoting activity. When you talk about one figure such as him, that is the symbol of the Orthodox Church, is not a matter of how do you judge or criticize or not criticize. Any activity that promotes further escalation, or anybody promoting further escalation rather than promoting peace, is a figure that we cannot really support. But it doesn't mean that we should apply sanctions. You told reporters on your way into the Foreign Affairs Council meeting on Monday that it would be a bad sign if the EU's 21st sanctions package was not revised at least by the 15th of July. You're going to Ukraine on that date, and we know that the oil price cap should be revised before this date so it doesn't benefit the Kremlin. Are you worried about showing up empty-handed or alongside a mechanism that potentially benefits Russia? Look, the process of negotiating sanction packages is a difficult one, as we know. And here I respect the position of every member state, and I hope that we manage to reach an agreement until the 15th. I'm going to Kiev as a follow-up of a number of meetings that our Prime Minister had with President Zelensky, where Ukraine very clearly expressed interest and desire to work with Bulgaria, also bilaterally, to strengthen in line of strengthening energy cooperation. There's clear need for Ukraine to secure its energy supplies in the upcoming winter. And that's where Bulgaria can play a big role, because we are in a country that can deliver a lot more gas, so in the route of gas supply to Ukraine, and that's where Ukraine has strong interest. So we are looking at ways to support Ukraine in ways that are mutually beneficial for both us and the entire region as well, and to strengthen the energy security of the region. So I'm not afraid about going empty-handed. I'm more thinking about how can we work more together to help Ukraine face the challenges in front of it, which are going to be even higher as the winter approaches.
And when you go to Ukraine on Wednesday, are you going with a proposal when it comes to gas, a certain metric that can be offered by a certain deadline?
Well, the discussion is still at the level of where we're determining what the needs are short term and what the opportunities are for expansion of the cooperation mid to long term. So I will not engage in the most technical discussion. We'll leave those to our Ministry of Energy, and we are already in discussion at that level too. But at my level, what's important is for us to identify what the role of Bulgaria could be there in short term to supply the necessary support for Ukraine and for the winter, but also long term. This is a route to further participation of Bulgaria in the reconstruction of Ukraine, because energy security is not just providing the electricity for now, but it's also a means to the economic prosperity of Ukraine. As you know, Ukraine has one of the biggest gas storage facilities, so being able to deliver more gas and store it would also be an opportunity for its own economic stability going forward.
An options paper proposed by the European Commission regarding a partial or outright trade ban between the European Union and illegal Israeli settlements was also discussed at the Foreign Affairs Council on Monday. What is Sofia's position on this? Should trade continue as it is today, or should there be a crackdown?
This is a difficult discussion, but because we've had many hypothetical discussions to date. It's the first time we have some form of options, not a concrete proposal still. What's important here is to think about what are the topics and objectives for which we have unity as a union. First, we all want an improvement of the humanitarian situation, and second, we are all in support of two-state solution. And on that basis, we are looking at any proposed measures as a means to those two objectives. When it comes to the sanctions for settlers there, we've supported in the past such sanctions. You know, we've had discussions on further possibilities of sanctions as well. When it comes to trade measures, we have a very pragmatic approach in thinking, okay, what is the current scale of trade from those regions? In the case for Bulgaria, it's minimal, if at all any. So if we think whether those trade measures are going to improve the humanitarian situation, likely not. And now, if we think about what is the possibility to adopt trade measures at the European level, what's still missing is a concrete proposal with the right legal basis. We still are toying between opportunities for making decision as unanimity or as with a qualified majority, and that's something that causes tension within the Council. And I hope very soon for us to actually see clarity on this and a very clear legal basis and proposals, so we can, as countries, we can study those proposals and make decisions. But until then, we will try to support any action that would allow us to improve the humanitarian situation and not make any ability for Europe to continue to play a role there any more limited.
So just to clarify, you're not convinced by any of the proposals just yet by what has been pitched by the European Commission?
And they're not proposals, really. They're options.
Yeah.
And that's slightly different, and there's not very clear agreement between the legal service of the Commission and the Council about the ability to adopt those with unanimity. It's clear that we don't have full agreement in the Council, but there's also some need for clarity there. What's important is for Europe to maintain its role in terms of humanitarian support and deliver on the ground, and all efforts need to go in that direction. So that's a discussion that I suppose we'll continue to have in the fall.
Bulgaria recognised the Palestinian state in 1988. It was one of the world's first, but Bulgaria is also an ally of the Jewish community, particularly from World War II. How does Sofia balance both of these things in 2026 when the debate is so polarised?
It is polarized, but we need to look in what's interest of our citizens and European citizens. Israel continues to be an important partner, and we need to find productive ways of engagement with Israel and to avoid any further escalation in the region and to support efforts in finding a sustainable peace there. In the same time, we continue to be aware of the growing humanitarian needs and the dire humanitarian situation. So at times where we've seen excess of violence or really, as I said, dire humanitarian situation, we've shown our criticism, and we've also expressed it directly to Israel. But we believe that we need to keep our thinking around any measures we apply with that objective in mind. Would they make Israel more willing to participate in improving the humanitarian situation? Would they make Israel more willing to participate in future peace efforts? And would they limit the role of Hamas there as well? So it's more within the objectives of finding sustainable peace there rather than individual symbolic measures in one or the other direction.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Thank you too.